Breaking news in the world of Formula 1 this morning. Haas F1 have announced that both Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen will no longer race for the team as of 2021 and beyond. So at the end of this season, Grosjean and Magnussen out of Haas F1. This news probably doesn't shock a lot of you, though it upsets me in particular, and we'll get onto that a little bit later on. It's a big change for a team that only started in 2016. The only drivers they've had at this team are Grosjean, Magnussen and Esteban Gutierrez for one season, all the way back in 2016. So this is a real shaking up of the boat, and as of late, results haven't been good. The team have been going backwards, and one of the big things I've been saying this season, and a lot of people have been saying, is Haas need change. At the peak of their powers, 2018, an incredible 5th place in the constructors standings. A 4th place finish in Austria for Grosjean is the team's best finish in that season and the team's history. But 2019, well, the Rich Energy saga, a car which never quite managed to reach its full potential, led to a very disappointing car in 2020. Though it's consistent, it's consistently slow. Change is needed. Change is being made. Both drivers out of the door. And before we get into my opinions, first up, let's take a quick look at the thoughts of team principal Günther Steiner. I want to extend both my thanks to Romain and Kevin for their hard work and commitment to Haas F1 over the past few seasons. Romain was fundamental to our establishment as we sought to get a driver on board with both speed and experience. His results in early 2016 were a just reward not only for his own talents, but also for the sheer amount of effort the team had put in to get on the grid that season. When Kevin joined a season later in 2017, we saw an immediate return with both drivers scoring points, and of course our first ever double points finish in Monaco of that season. We have a lot of good memories together, in particular 2018, where we finished 5th in the standings in only our 3rd season. Romain and Kevin played a significant part in that success. Of course, there is still plenty of racing left in the 2020 season. It's been a challenging year, no doubt about that, but both drivers have given their all behind the wheel of the VF20. We value their input and experience to keep pushing the team forward through to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in December. The thoughts there of team principal Günther Steiner, a man who's had a lot on his plate over the last few seasons, whether it was Rich Energy, whether it is the technical side of things with the team going backwards, or whether it's managing their drivers. He's had a lot to work through, and a lot of that, unfortunately for him, we have seen through the lenses of Drive to Survive. But it's been a rocky start to Haas's life in Formula 1. There's been some incredible highs, and now they're slowly starting to sink back into that proper Formula 1 feeling where things don't always go your way, and this season, though it's not been a calamitous season, I would argue better than 2019, though the points don't quite suggest that, change is definitely needed. It's happening. No announcement yet on who will be replacing either driver, but what Haas have made very clear is they are thinking long term. They want one, maybe even 2 drivers that can stay with the team maybe for the next 3 or 4 seasons, like this current partnership has worked right now. Are the options available? Certainly. We have all kept hearing about this list of 10, 15 drivers that could be racing for Haas F1 next year. I know it's ridiculous, but it's a buyer's market. There are too many drivers, too little seats. Haas have options. They're going to make sure they take their time and pick the right 2 for them going forward. And I don't blame them. There's some fantastic options out there. They can get experience. Guys like Perez, guys like Hülkenberg. I know it sounds ridiculous. Guys like Kimi Räikkönen, if things fall their way, they may even be able to get an Alex Albon in that seat. They've got youth. There are so many juniors ready to make that step up from Formula 2. Callum Ilott, Robert Schwartzman, Mick Schumacher, and the most likely of the lot, Nikita Mazepin, bringing funds to a team that was strapped for cash during the start of the year. Of course, the team have signed that 5-year Concord agreement. They're losing sponsorship from both Grosjean and Magnussen, more so Grosjean. So Mazepin, first of all, will bring the funds, but also he's not too bad on his day. A spicy character, a fiery character, and I tell you now, if any team principal will be able to get the best and keep Nikita Mazepin in place, it's Günther Steiner. but I honestly don't think we'll hear about an announcement for the two drivers for at least a couple of weeks, maybe pushing towards the end of the season after the Abu Dhabi test. There's no rush whatsoever for Haas to make a decision in the near future. And then, what about the two drivers? What about Magnussen? What about Grosjean? Kevin, I think, still has a lot to offer in Formula 1. He's quick. We all know he's one of the feistiest drivers out there. He's one of the biggest characters on the Formula 1 grid. And more importantly, he's still quick. He's still got the speed. He just hasn't had the cars to show it over the last couple of years. The big issue for Kevin is what options are out there. I don't think Williams are going to want him. I don't think AlphaTauri or Red Bull are going to be interested. Alfa Romeo potentially, but it seems unlikely. So I think for Kevin, he's going to have to start looking elsewhere, whether it is IndyCar. He does have an interest there. I believe NASCAR as well, he quite likes. Also Formula E, there is a couple of seats available, but they are really slimming down now. Only one or two remaining on the grid. And for Grosjean, my man, my boy, I've supported him since the beginning, since I was 11, 12 years old. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss him, and you all know that. I would love to make a separate video on this topic, going into detail about Grosjean. I think I'm going to hold off until the end of the season. Do my best to make a really nice thank you send-off video for Romain, because right now, it's early. I'm a little bit upset, and I'm not in the right mind frame to do a video about Grosjean leaving, but on a serious side of things, which I'm not always the best at doing, it's about time his Formula 1 career comes to an end. There's no news of retirement just yet, but I think that's probably the best way forward. I am actually slightly surprised that he hasn't announced it first. It's usually that a driver announces their retirement before the team decides they're getting rid of their drivers, really. So that's an interesting take on it. However, Grosjean, I don't see him getting a seat elsewhere. I think he's ready for a new challenge. He's been very, very vocal about Extreme E, about Formula E. He's also set up his own esports team. I think he's really starting to look at other avenues now. He knows the Formula 1 dream is coming to an end. And though that championship, that victory never quite came, 10 podiums? A lot of drivers, a ridiculous amount of drivers, have never even got close to that. Look at Hülkenberg, for example, or even drivers like Sergio Perez, who I'm hoping will be able to find a seat at one of the vacant Haas seats now, or Alfa Romeo, or even Williams, that we discussed a few days ago. But it's news I didn't want to wake up to, but I think we can all agree it was inevitable at this point. I'm excited for the future of Haas F1. This will open doors to those guys in Formula 2. I hope drivers like Perez and Hülkenberg can get a seat on the grid, but they are so hard to come by this year. And this silliest of seasons in 2020 just keeps rumbling on. I'll be back this afternoon for your preview for the Portuguese Grand Prix. I hope to see you there. But from me today, thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.